Hi, my name is Mary Hodder, and today I'm going to make chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. This is a recipe that I learned to make when I was in the 6th grade, and it came from sort of a second mom for me. My mom was a great cook, but this other woman who was a very close family friend and very dear to me taught me to make this, and every time I make it I think of her, so I really love it. It's very simple. It involves chicken and garlic, which is pretty basic, and a few other ingredients that most people have in their kitchens. Some of the ingredients that we're going to use include the rest of a bottle of wine, about 1.5 cups to maybe 1 3/4 cups. We're going to use 2 to 3 tablespoons of cognac. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and this is olive oil that I buy in bulk and then rebottle into wine bottles, and bay leaves, sage. This is actually from my garden, and if you can get fresh herbs, it's terrific. Thyme, also from my garden. Garlic, butter, pepper, salt, and chicken. So the first step is to take the heads of garlic and peel off some of the extra skin, like this, and to smash it apart. Whoops. Very loud process. But if you can smash it against your cutting board, you take it apart, whoops, and they go flying. What you'll end up with are lots of pieces of garlic like this. It's hard to peel the garlic pods or cloves after you get below about this level. And so it's actually much easier to take all of these and minus whatever skin you're able to remove and drop them into boiling water for 60 seconds. While the garlic is just briefly boiling to make it easy to pull the skins off, is put in our tablespoon of butter into the pan, the large Dutch oven style pan, and put in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Next we'll come back to the garlic and use a slotted spoon to pull out the garlic and put it into a bowl where we'll let it sit for a couple of minutes because it's got to cool off so that we can handle it. While the butter and olive oil is heating up, I'm going to salt and pepper the chicken, and basically I'm going to pat it onto the chicken so that it sticks, and when it goes in it's nice and sort of a part of the crust of the chicken. So I'm just going to pepper the top of all of these pieces, and then I'll put salt on afterwards, and then we'll turn them over and do the other side. So I'm following with kosher sea salt, which is inexpensive to get at places like Trader Joe's, and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle it on like this. And it's not a problem to salt this somewhat liberally because this is the only time that you're going to add salt. And then use your free hand to turn everything over and repeat. You can see here that the butter and the olive oil have mixed together well, and they're kind of going to come to a little bit of a sizzle. As soon as that happens, we'll put the chicken in. This chicken actually comes from Whole Foods, and what I like about it is that it's air chilled. It doesn't take on any water content, so it has a nicer, richer chicken flavor. So the next step is that I'm going to put all of the pieces of chicken into the fat and just kind of make sure that a little bit of the fat is underneath each of the pieces. And our goal here is to end up with chicken that is nicely browned on both sides. Okay, so we're going to come back to the garlic while the chicken is cooking. You have about 10 minutes. By parboiling it, I've made it really simple to peel those cloves. After about 5 minutes of cooking, we're going to turn over the chicken, and you'll see that it's got a really nice golden brown. You don't want it to be too dark, but you want it to have a little bit of sort of crispiness on the skin. And so you can see here, I'm just kind of checking it to make sure it's all done. The next thing we're going to do is put in the garlic cloves. Real quick before putting in the garlic is I'm going to set the oven temperature. We want it to be 300 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we want it to preheat for 10 or so minutes before we go ahead and put the whole dish inside. The fat is hot. I'm going to put in the garlic next. All of these heads of garlic have been peeled, and I'm just going to drop them in. And as you can see, it's a little bit scary. So we want to make sure that they cook on a low temperature, and we're just going to kind of lightly brown them. We want them to be golden, not dark brown or black. So we want to stir them regularly so that they don't have a chance to burn. This is Time for My Garden, and you can buy it in this form as well at a lot of grocery stores like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. They sell it. And what we're going to do is run 2 fingers down the stem. The stems are quite a bit stronger than the leaves, and what we want are the leaves. So we're gonna pull those off and put them here and then get rid of the stems. One reason I like to use fresh herbs is because anything that dries tends to concentrate the flavor, and herbs can get very bitter. We've probably got a good tablespoon or 2 going, and by the time we're done we'll probably have more like 3 tablespoons. So what I'm going to do next is take the foil off of the chicken and go ahead and put it into the garlic. The garlic is getting nicely browned, and I don't want it to overcook, and the chicken will help with that. Three tablespoons of cognac. We're basically taking all those little bits of the chicken and garlic that stuck to the pan in the fat, and the liquid is going to help it loosen and join the sauce, and it tastes really, really good. So we're going to put in the wine and pour it out all over the chicken. And as you can hear, the sizzling went down quite a bit, and now the liquid is going to come to a simmer. So I'm going to turn this down to about a medium level temperature and finish prepping the rest of the herbs. Stems are pretty intense in flavor, so we want to pull those off. And all these little baby leaves are really good. They have a nice, delicate flavor, the younger leaves. As you can see, I've probably got 1/3 of a cup here of sage, maybe even 1/2 cup. And then what we're going to do is pop it into the chicken along with the thyme. Along with the thyme that we prepped earlier, and we're going to put in some bay leaves. So as you can see, I've got a package of bay leaves. I like to buy bay leaves from this company called Penzeys Spices. They're in the Midwest, and they have really high turnover, which means that things are really fresh. They don't sit in warehouses for years and then hit the supermarket shelves. And basically what you're going to do is just set it into the middle of the oven, and if you recall, we set the oven at the 300-degree temperature. What we're going to do is set the timer for 35 minutes. We're going to turn the chicken once and then put it back in for another 25 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So you can see it's turning into a really nice sauce, and the garlic's getting really mellow. And it's all nice and brown from when we did that earlier. So I'll put that back in. And we just put it back in. It's cooking very well, so I'm going to actually set the timer for 20 minutes. Okay, so the timer just went off. We've cooked this now for an hour, so I'm going to pull it out of the oven. I think it's going to be done. And there we are. Chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to go ahead and place the chicken on top of the pasta. And of course the pasta is getting, getting dry. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've got some of the chicken out of the pan, and I'm going to pull in some of the liquid and basically pour it all over the pasta so that it's well covered. You can see the garlic pieces are now showing up on top of the pasta. And then I usually do a little bit of garnish, put in a little bit of the sage leaves, which again are not usually consumed. You just tuck them in somewhere nice so that they're sort of there in the dish on the edge. And that's it. And there you go, chicken with 40 cloves of garlic on a bed of noodles with sage.